Starting and we're live.
Thanks for checking out another edition of Dead End Sports. Welcome again for another episode. This is the place where sports opinions collide. I'm your host, 12 Kyle, joined by my partners, Beezy, Ken, and FIFO will be on the way. Man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for checking us out. You are catching us live on the live stream right now on YouTube. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you go to youtube.com/Dead End Sports and subscribe to our channel there. Make sure that you follow us on all the socials. Follow us on Twitter at Dead End Sports. Of course, follow us individually. You can follow B at BZ430. You can follow FIFO at FIFO247. You can follow Ken at KBINGE. And you can follow me at 12 Kyle, the number 12KYLE. So before we get started, man, what's up, fellas? What's going on? Beezy, what up, though?
What up, man? Week 2 for P90X for me, man. So I'm
still getting right.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get right. I'm trying to get right for this Cabos trip, man, in April. So that's all, man. I'm just feeling like worn out or whatever. It's like work. I come home, do P90X, take my shower, and I'm just chilling, watching sports or whatever, man. I'm chilling now. I'm in my chill zone.
No doubt.
You don't hear no echo feedback and nothing like that, do you?
No. You sound good.
All right.
What about you, Ken? What's going on, man?
Oh, man, same thing as usual, man, arguing with people on Twitter. Much like B, man, I think it's the same thing, man. It's just, it's work, then it's work. So I think that's been the big thing for those of you that may be tuning in, for those of you that don't know, that don't follow us on Twitter or anywhere else, like Facebook, launched a new network last week. So last week was a busy week for me, man. Launched Dead End Podcast, which you can find. Actually, you know what? I'll make it easy for you. Just go to deadendpodcast.com. It's just a simple site that we put together, to kind of house all the new podcasts that we're going to be producing and putting out. Also, the podcasts are being distributed through Audio Boom, so you can go there and check it out, because we have like 3 channels up there right now: Dead End Sports, Dead End Hip Hop, and then Off the Bench, which launched last week as well. So the Dead End Podcast show launched with the first show ever produced, published, and put out by us, man. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. And the young guns, man, they did a good job. It's called Off the Bench, and we're gonna have them on the show later when we start talking a little bit about basketball. But yeah, shout out to Q Got No Rings at Q Got No Rings on Twitter, and Ryan as well at Twitter. They're the host of the show, and you get a chance to catch them a little bit later. So yeah, it was a busy week, man. Launching the Dead End Podcast last week, and then the show to go along with that. So Rod and I, we were busy doing that, and this week, man, I'm trying to get something else up in 7 days. I'm a day behind. So yeah, man, it's work to come do work. So that's what it is, man.
No doubt, man. That's what it's all about, man. As you guys know, man, we stay busy, man. Not much to report on this end, man. Just trying to maintain, trying to enjoy these sports, man. It's these last couple of days have been really hot and heavy as far as sports, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, and always not enough time to get it done. This past weekend, man, crazy weekend in the NFL. We had the divisional round. We had Kansas City going against New England. New England got the victory there. We had Pittsburgh in a battle against Denver. Denver got the win at home. Then in the NFC, we had a thriller. Actually, we had 2 thrillers if you really look at it. We had one game that looked like it was going to be a blowout, with Carolina holding on to beat I lost just that fast. Carolina beat Seattle Seahawks. And then on the other NFC side, we had a thriller on Saturday night. The Green Bay Packers losing to the Arizona Cardinals. Aaron Rodgers, man, for the second time, Hail Mary. Actually, for the third time in his career, a Hail Mary to send it into overtime. And we're going to talk about all of these games. Let's start first with Kansas City at New England. Kansas City, man, really had a chance to kind of close that game out in the end. Just ran out of time. Some people say Andy Reid's clock management killed them. What did you take away from that game, Ken?
You know what? Kansas City was nervous. I think they you can, which is really weird. And I don't want to say they're nervous. I'll take that back. I think that New England, they were extremely prepared, as we expected them to be. They were fully healthy. And watching that game, they came out. Man, Belichick, man, deserves a lot of credit, man. I think, people talk about Brady a lot, and deservedly so, but I think Belichick, man, is not getting the credit he deserves, because that game plan they came up with to negate the pass rush was crazy. And it was pretty much kind of went back to what they were doing at the beginning of the year, where it was 1-2 throw, 1-2 throw.
Right.
Who's going to get to them that fast? You know what I'm saying? So at that point, Kansas City basically turned into a pretty average team, because their defense wasn't able to kind of get set and wreak havoc, which was one of the things that I was kind of going when I picked Kansas City as my upset last week. It was a shot in the dark, but I figured I'd take a stab at it. But Belichick, man, him and his coaching staff came up with an astounding game plan, and they were able to kind of keep Kansas City on their heels. But I got to give the Chiefs a lot of credit, because they fought back, and there were moments. Actually, the score was 14-6 heading into the break, and it should have been 14-14. But the Patriots defense held, and Alex Smith, missed a couple of passes here and there. But Kansas City, they fought hard, man. But with Macklin being hurt, he wasn't able to make an impact on the game, and I think the score made it look a little closer than what it actually was. And the last thing is this: I do blame Andy Reid for at least failing to give them a chance if they got the onside kick.
Right.
And they didn't get the onside kick, so I think it really didn't matter at the end of the day. But you never know, right? Because it's a 50-50 chance. And the fact that they huddled. When I saw them huddle in a 2-minute drill,
right,
and not knowing the situation, or Alex Smith failing to take control of the game when they needed a play. He look, man, you need to score, so just call something, and maybe huddle or do something on an incomplete pass. But for all intents and purposes, it really didn't matter, man. The game was over. You're taking a long shot. When you're trying to get an onside kick. But if they would have gotten the onside kick, they wouldn't have had enough time to even march down the field and score, especially with their offense complete, moving at 2 yards per play. So yeah, Patriots just handled it, man, as many expected, and that was pretty much it. So, yep, I lost that pick, 0-1. I should have took the easy way out.
I don't know why you didn't. I told you, Ken, man. It's hard to go against playoff Brady and Belichick, man. It's really tough. Like I know Kansas City was coming off this 11-game winning streak, but I had a feeling that it was gonna run out at some point. Yeah, I just had a feeling, and but. Kansas City, I mean, they hung in there, because it was moments in this game I was like, man, can they really pull this off and get this W? But, in the end, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and company, with Gronkowski and Edelman back, I was really interested to see what Edelman was going to do, him back in the swing of things. And Charkantrick West, I mean, man, That dude's gonna be a stud. I can see him going early in fantasy drafts.
Right.
Yeah, people gonna get him early, and I lucked up and got him off the waivers. But yeah, I thought it was a good game. I was pretty much like I was perfect with all my picks this weekend. I was actually like I picked all winners. That's what I did. I picked all winners. So yeah, but I thought the New England and Chiefs game, I thought it was gonna be a little close. Well, I thought the score would probably have been like maybe 31-28 or something like that.
Right.
That would have been my score prediction. But 20-27, I wasn't that far bad. I wasn't that far off. So long as I was happy this weekend, I got some good games.
Right.
games that kind of kept me on the edge of my seat. Because, the wild card, man, some of them games I literally took a nap. But
yeah.
These games was a little more interesting, man. So, I'm just glad I was able to get a good game out of the Kansas City and New England game.
No doubt. I think I was a little disappointed in how the Chiefs handled how Andy Reid in particular handled the clock management toward the end. Like Kansas City legitimate, and like Ken said, of course it's all going to be predicated on whether or not they get the onside kick. But I thought that they could have handled it better. I will give the Chiefs a lot of props for even making it this far, because I'm gonna be honest, I thought that when Jamal Charles went down, I can't remember what week it was, but when he went down, I thought it was over for Kansas City. I didn't think that they would, be able to salvage the season, let alone make the playoffs. And they did, man. And so I think you got to give them props for that at least. We saw their quarterback, who's been much maligned, Alex Smith, play fairly decent. But I think Kansas City, they had a shot. So I think at the end of the day, they have themselves to blame. They again, against a team like New England, you can't just kick field goals. That's just not going to happen. I mean, you kick field goals, you can't win. And, but their defense, they were up against a tough task. Brady had Edelman back. He had Gronk was back. And what's the other little receiver now? I can't remember his name. Amendola. Yeah. So, I mean, it was like they were running 5-yard outs all day. Nothing stretching the field, but, Brady was turning the sticks. And I think, they didn't run the ball a lot, but they did it to keep them off balance. Belichick called a good game. So I think the Chiefs really have themselves to blame. I'm not saying that they would have won the game, but they could have played a lot better than they did. But that was a decent game to watch, so I wouldn't complain about that. Now, as for the other AFC game, which pitted Pittsburgh, injured Ben Roethlisberger. Of course, Antonio Brown was out with a concussion. They battled with Denver, man. It all came down to one of Pittsburgh's final drives when the running back Fasant fumbled the ball in Denver territory. Denver turned that into a score and subsequently won the game. B, what did you take away from the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Denver Broncos game? Oh, I think B stepped away for a second. What about you, Ken?
Steelers Broncos?
Yeah.
We're doing our preview later. Okay, so it was a good game, man. And for a while, I almost regretted not picking the Steelers. But in that game there were 5-6 drops. I think 6.
Yeah.
6 official drops, and for everybody, trying to say that the drops didn't matter. I think I recall a game where Brady's receivers were dropping a lot of ball. People were saying that to me when they lost the game. So it's funny how that kind of, it becomes a suitable argument for you depending on what side of the line you're standing on. They dropped a lot of balls. I'm not saying Peyton played great because he did not. But there were opportunities and there were passes that they caught that could have made his line look a lot better. But they are where they are. The Broncos have been dropping passes all year long, at least during the second half of the season. But nevertheless, man, I give the Steelers a lot of credit, man, because people didn't give them a shot, especially without Antonio Brown. And in all honesty, if Toussaint holds on to the ball, we may be having a different conversation right now. Because Pittsburgh, they were controlling the game with defense because there was only so much that Denver could do. Offensively, Denver just looked terrible to me. They looked anemic. They looked horrible. They looked out of sync. They didn't look like a Super Bowl champion team to me at all. I was actually pulling for the Steelers. I'll be honest, man. I'm gonna confess, man. We have a family full of Steelers lovers, man. My cousin-in-law, he loves the Steelers. So even though I picked the Broncos to win, deep down in my heart, I'm rooting for the Steelers, man. You guys know me, man. I'm not gonna root against my boy Tomlin. Never that. Just so I can be right on the show. I'll give that up all day. And I thought that watching how they were able to play, a healthy Antonio Brown would have made this weekend's matchup very, very interesting.
Right.
But Ben looked okay, man. Talib, whatever, what's his name? The Talib.
Akeem Talib.
Yeah, Akeem Talib. Yeah, he was calling. He said Big Ben was faking. And look, I'm not on the field, but Big Ben looked all right to me throwing the ball. But clearly, they were still limited in the things they could do. A lot of it had to do with the fact Antonio Brown wasn't there. But yeah, man, I thought it was a good game. It was a game that really kept you engaged until the very end because nobody knew how the game was going to unfold with it being 13-12 heading into the fourth quarter.
Right.
And things just bounced Denver's way. And in all honesty, man, the defender Roby made a great play. But I gotta say, man, I think they got a little lucky too. But Peyton Manning, when it counted, man, he made the throw he needed to make, and they got the score they needed to get, and the defense took care of the rest.
Yeah, man, it was a good game. It was one of those games that I thought was very defense, a lot of hard hits, and I think right before the turnover happened, Phil Simms had mentioned that there wasn't a turnover during the game. So when games are that close, playoff games, points come at a premium. And I think what happened was, the guy, he fumbled the ball. It was unfortunate because I think up until that point, I think he was having a pretty decent game. You got to keep in mind, like you said, Pittsburgh, I tip my hat to Pittsburgh because, one, to get that far, you had Ben coming in with an injured shoulder, and Antonio Brown was out. And you got to remember, they were down their first and second string running backs with Le'Veon Bell and D'Angelo Williams being out, for the game or whatever. So, being down to your third and fourth string running backs and still being productive, I think says a lot. Roethlisberger got a lot out of his receivers. Like you said, Ken, there were quite a few on both sides drop footballs, and I think that hurt the passing game. Before we move on, I see B is not back yet. What did you make of Manning's performance? I mean, I saw a lot of people being very critical of him. I thought Manning played fairly decent. Some of the balls, I think he was having problems initially, but he made a lot of throws, and I just saw a lot of drops.
I think it depends on how you look at the game, and I've kind of been – I was a little critical of him, and I also want to be fair because you have to take into account the 6 drops that would have changed his final line for the game a lot. If Demaryius Thomas and guys would have been able to hold on to the ball. That told me that he was putting the ball where it needed to be, and the guys just were not catching it. And I think when you look at that game and you look at how he played, we're grading Peyton Manning on what we've seen this season, and what we've seen just wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
So when we see guys dropping the ball, or we see it looks like they were out of rhythm, or some of the passes didn't look really, really strong. And they were kind of floating in the air and wobbly and this, that, and the other. I think that's what people are looking at. But I think also people have a jaded outlook on Peyton Manning right now. So one of the things that, now that you're asking me the question, I was kind of thinking about, well, maybe this was just a defensive playoff game.
Right.
Maybe it was just one of those grinded out, tough kind of games where it wasn't a lot of scoring back and forth, and both sides just had to play, scale it back a little bit and play within the limits of what they have offensively, and looking at it that way, because we've seen some ugly playoff games from teams that were completely healthy in the past. And it was just a grinded out, everybody looked terrible, people dropping the balls here and there. But overall, man, I think that as long as he didn't turn the ball over, you can say he did okay. His biggest thing this year was turnovers.
Right.
And he missed some receivers. I'm not going to give him a pass. He had Demaryius Thomas on a touchdown down the field. He just overshot him. And a lot of that could have been due to, him not playing in the last couple of weeks, him only coming in a reserve role. His timing could still be a little bit off, but, he was okay. He was okay, but this is Peyton Manning, and you know what? The bar is high for him.
Right.
But I think we need to lower that bar based on what we've seen this year. We just don't know, man. He was all right. He was all right. He could have been a lot better though.
He's definitely going to have to be better if they plan to win this weekend. My man Ryan in the chat room in the comments section said that he was talking about remember the play where Manning, where they thought he was sacked and he kind of gave himself up and he went to the ground and got back up. Here's the thing. Manning gets that call. That doesn't make it right or wrong, but he wasn't touched down, so he gets the benefit of the doubt. Now, you could make an argument that, no other quarterback would get that. Would Cam Newton get that call? Would, Russell Wilson get that call? I don't know. But the fact that he wasn't touched and the whistle didn't blow, you play to the whistle. And, he was smart enough to get back up and make the throw. So I don't have a problem with that.
Man, but Kyle, look at that play, right? Manning did it so smooth that it didn't look like he was giving himself up. It looked like he just went to the side, slid down on one knee, bounced up so quick, and he threw it. Like it was a really fluid motion when you look at it live. So you know what I mean? Maybe, like you said, maybe it is a Manning call, just like Alex Smith got pummeled twice.
Yeah, he did
in Kansas City, and he didn't get a call. One was close. One could have been a bang play, but one he was obviously hit late after the ball, and they didn't call a flag, and everybody was like looking at that like, come on, man. And that was in Foxborough. So, but it's Alex Smith. If that's Brady, he get that call. If that's Manning, he get that call. It's Alex Smith. Nobody's gonna give Alex Smith that call. So I agree with you. Maybe it was a Manning call, but I don't think he gave himself up. When I saw that play, and when I kind of thought about, for whatever reason, and I know we're going to get to it, the Carson Palmer, how he hit that spin move.
Mm-hmm.
Where you don't expect guys like them to be like agile or athletic enough to make that play, but somehow Peyton Manning at 39 years old, maybe he had one of those HGA in a tooth somewhere, and he took a quick hit.
Boy, you stupid.
But it's a 50-50 call, man.
Hey, but you know what's funny, man? I had to think back. I don't think I've seen him move like. I know we haven't seen him do anything like that since probably 5, 6, 7 years ago in Indy. Definitely not since he's been away from the Colts. Like I said, man, I think he got the benefit of the doubt in a league where they're definitely out to protect the quarterback. He kind of played that to the edge of where you probably should be playing it. But again, on defense, you have to play to the whistle. So, if you're the Steelers, you can't be mad at yourselves. I mean, you only have yourselves to blame because you have to play. The whistle wasn't blown, so you got to keep playing. Now, conversely, let's switch it over to the NFC. Man, we had, and I'm really interested to get your take on this Seahawks Carolina Panthers game. Carolina comes out, damn near obliterates Seattle in the first half. Pick six. Russell Wilson throws a pick six. He comes back, throws another interception. Before you know it, and I tweeted out, I was like, man, this looks like the Falcons-Panthers game when the Falcons went up to Charlotte. Before you know it, it's 31-0. But they go in for halftime. Russell Wilson kind of rallies the troops, and they score 24 unanswered points. And you can make a case that, Seattle ran out of time. I mean, ultimately, Carolina did what they were supposed to do as far as, closing the door. But what do you take from that game? Do you necessarily look at the first half or the second half as far as Carolina's performance?
I look at the first half. The second half is a red flag because we've seen it before with the Giants. They have a tendency to relax when they go up big. And this is the second time it's happened this year, and hopefully that's something Rivera can coach his team up to kind of prepare them or warn them about, because they have at the most 2 games left.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that when the games become even more important than the game you played the week before. But for me, I'll take away the first half, mainly because when Carolina is rocking and rolling, They are a force to be reckoned with.
My goodness.
And if they can play like that for 2 halves, they could beat anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is what we have to take away from that. I don't know what the hell happened to Seattle, man. And I wish the second half would have been. I wish we would have had. I wish Seattle would have showed up for the whole game.
Same here.
And instead of waiting until the second half, because I think we would have had a great game. It was a situation where I don't know what the hell Russell Wilson was thinking when he threw that pass. He's smarter than that.
It was the future hive, man. It was the future hive that Carolina was about the whole pregame and stuff. It was the future hive, man. That's what messed them up. You didn't peep that, Ken? How come you didn't notice that? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I heard they were playing future music at the stadium.
They were playing that. That's all Carolina was bumping. And if y'all didn't peep, I forgot my man's name that sacked Russell Wilson, but he did like one of the dance moves.
DJ Esco.
Yes, dude. Like they was in Russell Westbrook head, man. It was hilarious. But yeah, just like you, Ken, I do wish that Seattle would have came and played the whole game, because I don't know if I'm Arizona. I'm watching a lot of film of that second half, because how you go from scoring 31 points to not scoring a damn thing in the second. I mean, not even a field goal or nothing.
Yeah.
The entire second half. If I'm Arizona Cardinals, I am studying that film, that game for the second half, and finding out, what the Seattle exposed, during that second half, because Arizona definitely gonna need to use that going into this NFC Championship game. And real quick though, I heard you talked about the Broncos and Steelers game, about Peyton Manning's performance.
Go ahead. We need to get your take on it too.
I think Peyton Manning's performance was actually fine. It was just the damn receivers kept dropping passes. I think we could have probably almost had like a good 2 or 3 touchdown lead, game from Peyton, if the receivers would have been, catching passes. That was really uncharacteristics from Sanders and Thomas, man. I wasn't. I mean, for them to be dropping the passes they was dropping, and they supposed to be considered, especially Thomas supposed to be considered one of the elite receivers, but I thought Peyton Manning's performance was pretty okay. I mean, it's just the receivers wasn't catching the passes like they should have been catching.
Yeah, they had a lot of drop passes.
And I can see the storyline for the AFC Championship game. The Brady Manning. Is this the last time they gonna play each other? Even though Manning did say he would like to play one more season, but we'll see. But back the era, Carolina and Seattle. I just think, if I'm Arizona, I'm studying the heck out that second half film, man. But you know what though? Because at first when I was like this close to start changing it. Like I wasn't really interested in watching it, because I think we had got done shooting Dead in Hip Hop, and I was on my way home, and I'm like, man, well, I'm gonna watch this game. And then all of a sudden, what we say, Ken? We were like, man, Seattle scored that first touchdown, and then they scored another one. I'm like, oh, it's 14-31. We got a game, nah. So I'm just glad they made it a game, and they showed some type of dogfight in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad it just wasn't Seattle can go out quietly 31-0, or it just ended up being a complete shutout. So I'm kind of glad we got a dogfight in that NFC divisional game.
No doubt. I think it was a game of just different runs and everything. I think I was surprised at how flat Seattle was. And I'd asked somebody, I said, well, you think it might have had anything to do with them playing a 1 o'clock game on the East Coast, which, we saw them a couple of years ago in the playoffs. Seattle came here to Atlanta, ended up losing a divisional game, but they were down like 28, 20, 25 points in the first half, and then came back in the second half, just ran out of time. Very similar, but this Seattle team is much better than that particular team. I don't know, man. I'm like you, B. I think you have to study the whole game, obviously, because you just don't know. I mean, whatever. Carolina was hugely successful in that first half, but they have a tendency to let their foot off the gas, like Ken said. We saw that in the Giants game, and we saw it here in the play. And the team that they're playing this weekend, the Cardinals, you can't afford to do that, because the Cardinals they're better than Seattle. They're not going to let up. And, they're a well-coached team. They're balanced on both sides of the ball. And they got playmakers. And, if you slip up, they're going to take advantage of whatever opportunities that you give them. So, Carolina, they're going to have to be on their P's and Q's. I think they're going to have to understand what it is. Because if I'm not mistaken, Carolina only had like 82 yards in the second half. that's inexcusable. I mean, when you got a 31-point lead, you only get 82 yards in the second half. You can't win like that. That's not playoff winning football.
Nope.
Now, conversely, the last game of the last game we'll talk about as far as the divisional round, was the thriller. The thriller in Arizona. Green Bay, man. Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Hail Mary, come with me.
Throws a Hail Mary like Tupac. Caught in the end zone to send it the overtime.
I couldn't believe that.
Man, what's your thoughts on that game, man?
Man, I couldn't believe that game. I couldn't believe when he thought. I was like, no, this is not about to happen when he tossed that Hail Mary. But I mean, overall, I thought the game was really good. I thought, you know what, I'm really happy for Larry Fitzgerald, man. It's like in a way deep down, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, Arizona finally hoisting that Super Bowl trophy just for Larry Fitzgerald, because I think him and Calvin Johnson to me are like the standards when it comes to like class in the NFL. Like they're a great example of how you act on and off the field. And just to see, you know, Larry Fitzgerald we all been seeing the work he's been putting in, and you know, it's good to see. And of course, for me, as I've been saying since last year, I think Arizona is that team to beat NFC, and I'm glad like this year they starting to prove it. We're going to be in for a heck of an NFC Championship game, man.
Yes,
I'm glad we have the 1 and 2 and the 1 and 2 on both conferences going for, you know, trying to win a trip to the Super Bowl, because yeah, that Arizona and Green Bay game was good. Green Bay put up a fight. I actually thought it was going to kind of be a blowout, but I knew Arizona was going to win. But you know, this kind of double check, he showed his butt. I think when Randall Cobb went out, it was just kind of like, you know, what more for him to lose Randall Cobb that early in the game. I was really surprised how well that Green Bay was still able to fight in the game. You know, all credit to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he hasn't looked the sharpest that we normally see him sharp this entire season. But hey, he got his team to a divisional playoff game. I was pleased the way that Green Bay was still able to fight, because they could have gave up easily when especially Rodgers when his second, you know, one of his second favorite target got injured and was out for the remainder of the game. You know, we already know he's missing Jordy Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I was really surprised, and I was surprised that Arizona didn't run up the scoreboard, because going before this game, I always thought Green Bay defense was always kind of shaky, so I thought Arizona was gonna kind of run up the scoreboard on them a little bit, but you know, them boys fought, man, on both ends of the ball. So, you know, kudos to Green Bay for putting up a fight. But I've said it, Arizona. And I'm just glad we're gonna be in for a hell of an NFC Championship game. So yeah, kudos to Larry Fitzgerald, and then Carson Palmer finally, you know, having one of his best seasons of his career, and at the age he's at, you know. So yeah, I thought it was a really good game. Like I said, all the games was good this weekend.
No doubt. What about you, Ken? What did you take away from that game?
Well, B, your pick wasn't looking too good, man, for a minute. You know, the first thing I noticed was Palmer. You know, he threw 2 picks. He threw 1 terrible pick in the end zone.
Yeah, he did.
You know, in the red zone, that was I don't know. And all I kept saying on Twitter, the Bengals, Carson Palmer. And I'm like, you take him out of that team and you put him on another team, and he still ended up doing the same thing. Larry Fitzgerald saved him from basically, you know, going 0-3 in the playoffs, and so that was the first thing I noticed. And Arians he kind of said it at you know, today, and he was like, "Yo, Palmer, you know, now that he got that monkey off his back, he needs to relax, man, and let's play our style of offense and take shots. That's what we do." But it was such a great game, man. To kind of go back to Cobb, man, like when Cobb went down, I think he did Green Bay a favor. And what I mean by that is I think they finally found out that this Janis kid, that Janis kid, man, was out there at times looking like Jordy Nelson B. You know, because he kept getting open. And he was cooking people. And then there was another guy that played well too. So I think that Green Bay, unfortunately, at the end of the season, found out that they had another guy that could play, and they needed to kind of figure out a way to kind of get him involved into the game. But you saw to me the difference between two quarterbacks. One that's been there before, that's won a Super Bowl along with his coach, and one that hasn't. And that's why the Packers were able to hang around as much as they were. It really was all of the greatness of Aaron Rodgers all the way to the beginning when he threw the Hail Mary pass. And I got to tell you, I had the strangest feeling that they were going to complete that pass. And I think I finally figured this out, how they do this. And at least from the ones I see, because a lot of teams, and Kyle, you can correct me on this, or both of you guys, when they throw Hail Marys, don't most of the players, the receivers and D-backs and everything, get in the end zone and just wait?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Huh?
That's what they're supposed to do.
Right. So if you look at Green Bay, if you look on both of their Hail Marys, they throw it. He'll throw it to where they can run under it. So when he threw it in the end zone. But Janice was in a trailing position right around the 10 to 5 yard line to run up, get position, seal, turn around and seal, and jump up at the peak of the ball and bring it down. It looks like, and I don't know if they learned this from Detroit or what, but it looks like that's how they managed to complete their Hail Marys, because Peterson's already standing in the end zone, so he's out of position. If the ball is right where it needs to be, all Janice has to do is just turn around and just go up and go get it, as long as Rodgers put it in the right place. So that was one thing I noticed. But, man, look, forget all that, man. I want to talk about the last play of the game in overtime.
Go ahead.
Man, my man, Larry Fitzgerald, man, he started cooking, boy. Did he start cooking?
Yeah, he did, didn't he? He started looking like the old Larry Fitzgerald.
Man, the Larry Fitzgerald that went to the Super Bowl. Remember, he took over the Super Bowl?
Yep.
That's the Larry Fitzgerald we saw, man, because he kept getting open and they couldn't guard him. And then, but that play, and a lot of credit goes to Carson Palmer, because that spin move that came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
That spin move, that old man spin move that he put on that defender, and he just lucked up. Well, I won't say lucked up, but he saw, Fitzgerald, threw it to him, and Fitzgerald was out.
Yeah.
And that run was electric. And the best part of that run to me was that stiff arm.
Oh, that stiff arm was killer.
Like, man, he was running. The guy came behind him. Like, how do you reach back and stiff arm a guy that's in a trailing position? Like, he mushed his face. The dude just fell down. I'm like, bruh, you need to quit. And he was out. And I really wanted him to score, man, because that would have been a great highlight. But I think he deserved the touchdown, even though I felt they were forcing it to him on the first play. But I think he deserved the touchdown, man. But it was really, really a great game, and I'm proud. I'm happy to see the Cardinals advance. I'm with you, B. I like the 1-2 matchup, and it's going to be tough, man, because I like both teams, and I would like to see both teams go to the Super Bowl, and I would like to see both teams, win it, regardless of who they play, whether they play Peyton Manning or whether they play Tom Brady. These are the two teams that I would like to see win the Super Bowl, because I think we would have somebody new hoisting up the trophy. And I'm with you, B, man. I would like to see Larry Fitzgerald get a ring, man, because that Super Bowl, man, they never should have lost that Super Bowl.
Man, Antonio Holmes made a catch, man. He made an amazing catch.
All because a DB couldn't hold on to the interception.
Man,
get him in the hand.
Man, you'd be surprised how many games are lost like that. I thought that game was incredible. I tweeted out, like, that game I think was one of the best playoff games I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of playoff games. That game, there was so much going back and forth, and you just knew, like Ken, I'm not going to sit here and say that I thought, but I knew that they had a shot. And the fact that Green Bay had a shot, and we've seen Green Bay complete those passes before. And what you were saying, Ken, was like, teams practice the Hail Mary every week. Like, when I played ball in college, that's something we practice. But because I'm not tall, I wasn't the one who was the one that's supposed to go back and jump. I was supposed to be the guy that was in the trail position. So we had a receiver that was like 6'4". And sometimes when we would try it in practice, his job was to bat the ball back to me, and if I was coming back in a trail position, I could get the reception or what have you like that. So we had different ways. Every team has different ways that they go about trying to complete the Hail Mary. I think one of the things that was interesting about Rodgers' Hail Mary was that this receiver is matched up with 2 DBs, and there's nobody else back there. I thought that was weird, and he actually splits the defenders. Ultimately, what you want to do as a receiver is, like you said, Ken, go up, catch the ball at his highest position, but you also want to, kind of position yourself to where your body is blocking out the other guys. It's just like going up for a defensive rebound. He sealed them perfectly, and it basically he was either going to come down with the ball or nobody was going to come down with the ball. And so, I give him all the credit in the world for going up and getting it at his highest point. The Fitzgerald play in overtime was incredible. Like you said, the stiff arm, man, I wanted to see him score. Now, I did hear, I think it was Clay Matthews, or maybe it might have been someone else on Green Bay's defense, that they were upset because the NFL rule states that, if the first team that scores a touchdown in overtime wins the game, the other team does not get the ball back. Real quick before we move on, I want to get you guys' take on that. Do you think that rule should be changed where, at least in the playoffs, a team, we saw this happen a few years ago with Pittsburgh when Tebow was quarterbacking against them and he was playing for Denver when he hit Demaryius Thomas and they scored on the first play of overtime. Do you think that that's a rule that should change at least for the playoffs where both teams should get a chance to score?
Well, first, I want to say this real quick. I loved Arians' defensive call, even though they gave up the Hail Mary. It was a 50-50 shot, but I love the fact that he didn't sit back. And I don't know if you guys heard the post-game interview where he, his defensive coordinator was going to play prevent. He was like, nope, blitzing. And I've always questioned and wondered why teams don't do more of that. Why play base defense? So that goes to show what type of coach Arians is. I definitely respect that, and hopefully we'll see more teams do that. Now, to go to the question, I think it should mirror college football. Now, but modified a little bit and help me with the rules. I think both teams get a chance to score, right? So if you go down in college football, if I get a touchdown, the other team has a chance to match that touchdown or the game is over, or match my field goal and they play on, or if I win with, obviously if I score a touchdown, you only get the field goal on the opening possession.
Right.
I would like to see that. And I think it doesn't necessarily have to be modified in the playoffs. If they want to test it in the playoffs, that's fine. Because I would like to see both teams get an equal shot. You got Aaron Rodgers, who just completed 2 amazing plays, a 4th and 20, running out of the end.
Oh, I forgot about the 4th and 20. That was incredible.
Yeah, running out the back of the end zone and hitting Janice again. Because Bethel looked completely lost, but it's hard to cover somebody that long, and when people start scrambling anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because you look at, first of all, when Tim Tebow hit Thomas and Pittsburgh didn't get a chance to go back and match it, we ended up with Tim Tebow advancing, and we all knew how that was going to play out. So they should have modified it after that. But, I agree with Clay Matthews. I think it's something the NFL should look at, man, because I wouldn't mind seeing Green Bay get the ball, because I felt a little empty when it was over because it happened so fast.
Yeah, it happened real fast.
And then you're like, man, is that it? Like, that's all we got? But yeah, I think it's something they should look at.
Yeah, I've been saying this for years. I always felt that I thought the NFL should mirror the college when it comes to overtime. I've been feeling this way since over a decade. Like, I used to always look at college football games. I'd be like, why is the NFL not doing this? Like, why is it? They modified it a little bit because before it was just first team score wins.
Mm-hmm.
They modified that a little bit. But I remember back then I was just like, why is the NFL not mimicking the college overtime, rule system? Like, I'm like, that's like way overdue. They should definitely mirror that. I mean, I don't care if you're the big bad NFL. I think I always felt the college overtime is the fair. It's the best one. It's the best way. There's no way you can go wrong with that. You give both teams a chance. After what? After what was it? I think in college, like after the third time, then it's sudden death. Then it's
Right.
First team score wins or whatever. If it keeps going back and forth, back and forth. But oh yeah, I always thought that they should mirror the college football overtime rules.
Definitely. So we got we're in store for arguably probably one of the best championship weekends that we've had in a long time. So in the first game, I think the game kicks off at 3:00. We got, for the 17th time, Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning. Ken, who are you going with and why?
Just say it, man. You know who you're gonna
Go ahead and say it, man.
Who, man?
The Patriots.
Begrudgingly.
They about to be right back in the Super Bowl, man. Tom Brady about to be in his 8th Super Bowl.
I tweeted it out, man. They're going back. After watching the Broncos play, I hate to say it, man. I don't think Denver has a shot. I understand. I saw this earlier that Jared Mayo was out.
Yeah, he's out for the season.
He's on IR, so that's a hole for the Patriots defensively. But man, Belichick versus Kubiak, we can start there.
Oh my God.
We can stop there. And to me, man, we saw what this team was able to do with John Fox, and John Fox wasn't able to get them over the hump, and they made a change. And to me, the defense has definitely been better, but offensively, they've taken a step back. And you know what? To me, I think that's sort of the risk you run when you make those type of changes. But they're back in the AFC Championship game, but Kubiak is here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to do what John Fox wasn't able to do, and that's win a Super Bowl. And if anybody's looking at Denver and thinking they have a chance of winning the Super Bowl, regardless of whether they advance or not, is crazy to me, or a big time fan. Based on what I've seen all year long, Denver offensively don't have what it takes. You need to be able to put up points to beat Brady and Belichick. It's just that simple. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. And with Demaryius Thomas dropping passes left and right, it's not Brock. You can put Peyton back there. It don't matter, man. The guy cannot hold on to the football. And and if he can't catch any passes, they're not gonna be afraid of him. So he has to go out and impose his will, as a receiver. We know what the defense is going to do or be able to do or try to do, and that's only going to last for a while. I think we're going to see the same offense we saw in Kansas City. They're going to drop back in 2 steps, but the ball's going to be out of his hands. Everybody know how I feel about the Patriots, man. It's no secret. But you know what? I don't let that get in the way of me making a smart decision. And even though I picked Kansas City last weekend, that was because of the streak, Alex Smith, mobility, and the defense. And Belichick killed that. So once Kansas City couldn't get any pressure on Brady, that was pretty much the game. Peyton Manning, man, seems like he's worse than Alex Smith. And I don't think Alex Smith is a bad quarterback, and that sounds wrong. But Peyton Manning just hasn't been good. And I can't trust him. And I'm not going to trust him, man. So Brady's going back, man. And all year long, man, really there were only 2 teams that could have beaten them, and that was the Bengals and the Steelers. And the Bengals, messed it up because they ended up hurting Antonio Brown and Big Ben Roethlisberger and costing the game for themselves.
Right.
So, salute, man. Salute to Brady, Belichick, man. They've been doing this for a long time. Regardless of the methods, it all still counts. And more than likely, they're going to go back to the Super Bowl. And we're going to have to sit there and I'm going to have to sit there and watch the game with my arms folded. That's all I got, man.
What about you, B? How do you see this thing playing out?
Yeah, Patriots. I mean, I wouldn't go as far, Ken, to say that Denver don't have a shot, but any given Sunday, you never know. Like you just said, Patriots missing one of they defensive captains, man, in Mayo. So I mean, I say Denver has a chance, but do I think they're gonna win? No. But man, let me tell you this: if Patriots freaking go to Super Bowl, play in the Super Bowl, and win, man, that's gonna be must see TV. Can you imagine him and like Roger Goodell handing freaking Tom Brady and Bill Belichick that Super Bowl trophy again after what all just happened this last offseason? And that would be crazy. That would be must see TV for me. If that was to happen this season.
Really, B?
I'm just saying, wouldn't that be like? I'm just saying, wouldn't it be crazy? I'm not saying I want that to happen. I'm just saying,
not that, but you kind of caught up in the whole they're doing this so that can happen narrative.
I mean, look, you saw how the offseason played out after they won the Super Bowl. So like for just you got Roger Goodell that was just trying to sue the league. And now you got him handed him the freaking Super Bowl trophy, man. That would be must see TV. I just want to see the look on Roger Goodell's face. That's just all that is for me. But yeah, I think Patriots gonna win this game. I'm gonna probably say be 24-14, 24-10 or something like that. I would say they probably win it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Denver put up a better fight than what Ken is saying they don't have a shot. But you do have a great point, Ken, about the coaches. You do have a great point with that. But yeah, I'm definitely at this point now. I think I think Tom Brady record is not really that good in the Mile High City, but
it don't matter, man.
Yeah, I think they're gonna get over it. I think they're gonna get this win, and Brady will be 3-2 against Peyton Manning in the postseason. Because I didn't even know they was 2-2. I thought Tom Brady had a winning record against Manning in the playoffs. So, but they 2-2. So, but I think Brady's gonna get his third win.
Yeah, but it's Kubiak versus Belichick. We all know how that's gonna play out.
Right.
Yeah.
And Brady versus a broken down Manning, man. But you know what, B? I want to say something, man. And I just got I got something I want to get off my chest, man. I hope you guys allow me just a minute.
Go ahead.
I'm kind of with you, B, about, seeing Goodell kind of eat crow a little bit. Only because ever since Goodell came in office, I have disliked this man because I have thought he has been unfair when he took over. The punishment he was issuing to the Bengals, and they were a lot of knuckleheads.
Yep.
The Steelers, you got the Saints, the Bounty Gate. A lot of the stuff and the moves he was making, man, it just seemed like the way he is now, like he's just everybody's daddy. You know what I'm saying? And that has always bothered me. So to see him actually have to finally see everybody else see Goodell for who he is, and the way he's mistreated players and with him trying to rule with the Iron Throne, I think it'd be good to kind of see pay for that a little bit. But there are two people that just Brady and Goodell. I gotta sit there and watch both of them. I'm gonna turn the TV off. That's what I'm doing, man. I'm not gonna watch it, man. You know what? I'm done, man. I'm getting upset. I got work to do, man. We got other stuff to talk
about. I'm gonna keep it simple, man. I'll put it like this. I want Denver to win, but I think New England's gonna win. I just don't know if they're gonna be able to score. I don't know if the Patriots, I was about to say the Colts. I don't know if the Broncos are going to have enough points to score. I just don't know if they're going to be able to manufacture enough points. Denver's defense doesn't scare me, but Manning's arm does. So I don't know, man. I think we're looking at Brady going back to another Super Bowl. Now, conversely, on the NFC side, this game kicks off at I believe 6:30. It's a late game.
It's a later game.
Prime time, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's going to be rocking. Panther Stadium. You got Cardinals, Panthers, like B said, 1-2. and this is the first time. This will be for the first time in the modern day era, for vying for the Super Bowl, that two former Heisman Trophy winners will be playing against each other for the NFC crown. And that would be Carson Palmer, who won the Heisman Trophy, and of course Cam Newton.
Palmer, okay, he won it when he was at USC, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
he
sir.
sure did. Dang.
Yes, sir. So this
I completely forgot that Carson Palmer won the Heisman. Wow.
This is the first time in the modern day era that you'll have two former Heisman Trophy winners squaring off for a right to go to the Super Bowl. How do you see this one playing out, B?
Ooh, man, this is gonna be a good one here. I'm glad they got this one in the late game, because this is the one that I'm gonna be tuning in. Man, only because I've been cheering for them since last year to do something. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Cardinals on this one. I think it's gonna be 17-14. The Arizona Cardinals, and Larry Fitzgerald is going to have a chance to finally, his second chance to get that Super Bowl ring. I think they're gonna pull it out. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be close, defensive, hard hitting, all that stuff. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as maybe some people are predicting to be, just because of this Cam Newton and Carson Palmer. But both teams have really good defenses, and I think it's going to show in this NFC Championship game. And like I said, 17-14. I got Arizona. Just because I was hoping they was going to make some noise last year. They caught the injury bug at the wrong time, and now they healthy. So I want to see what they're going to do, and I think they're going to pull out and get that W, man, NFC Championship game. Sorry, Cam fan. I know Ken. I know Ken. Like, come on, man. You got to root for the brother, man. You got to. I think I'm gonna go with Larry Fitzgerald on this one, man. I think I'm gonna go with him.
Okay. What about you, Ken?
I don't need you to root for the brother B, because I'm going to hold it down right here, man. Going to the Super Bowl, man, it's the way it's supposed to be, man. Look, this kind of takes me back to Auburn, when Cam played in Auburn, man, and people just kept doubting the brother, man, and he just kept overcoming every single obstacle. They had a smear campaign against him, and he still managed to rise
undefeated
out of the ashes, man. And this kind of seems like the same thing, man. You know what? I wouldn't be upset if Arizona won this game, because I love Larry Fitzgerald, and I feel like if he goes, it would be nice to see him get a ring. And like I said earlier in the show, there's only two teams I'm rooting for to win the Super Bowl this year, and it's Arizona or it's the Carolina Panthers. So I'm good either way, man. But I would love to see brother go to the Super Bowl, because with that, you know what, both defenses are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very good. Number 1 and 2.
Yeah, in their own kind of way. So I'm glad this is the primetime matchup, because nobody want to see that sorry ass game between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. I probably watch that with the sound off. I don't want to see that, because we all know how it's gonna go. This one right here, I want to watch, because somehow, some way, Ron Rivera managed to turn himself into a great coach after all the troubles he went through last year. And this is the game I want to see, man. So, in all honesty, I'm always pulled for the brother, man, when we get in a situation like this. I even did something on Twitter where I just checked off the brothers, man, that's out of the playoffs. Let's just go, man. Marvin Lewis, Tomlin. We got to pour a little liquor for, man. Russell Wilson gone. Let's pour a little liquor for the brothers, man. But we got Cam Newton left, man, and until he's beaten, man, I'm gonna pull for him. But even if he goes down, man, I got another brother on the other side of the field that I want to root for, man, that I've been a fan of, fast actor in the NFL, and Larry Fitzgerald. So yeah, man, I'm good either way. But let's go, Cam.
Hey, and joining us is the fourth member of the clan, our boy FIFO. FIFO, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's good, Kyle?
Chilling, man. What's up with you?
Bro, you already know.
I know. You all right?
I already know. Yeah, man, I'm good, man.
Good. Chime in, man. Tell us how you think this thing's gonna play out. AFC and NFC.
First off, I want to say I was right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was right on all the games, even the Seattle game, because I said if I didn't pick them at the beginning of the season, I picked Carolina. But this Carolina-Arizona game, this is going to be better than the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter who comes out the AFC. This
I
game
agree.
right here
I
is
agree
going to be better than
totally.
the Super Bowl.
I agree totally.
I think that, I don't know where B is coming with this 14-17 score. I definitely think they're going to
Defense,
put up.
man.
I
Defense.
feel you, but they're going to put up more points than that. I don't think it's going to be 30-40, but it's going to be more than 17. I think it's going to be in the 20s, low 30s. And I got Carolina winning it, man. I got Carolina winning it all. I think it's gonna be a nail biting game. I think that we're gonna see some things that's like, oh, how the hell did that happen? You know what I'm saying? Some crazy plays, and I think that Superman Cam Newton is gonna pull it out like he's been doing it all year. Whatever you need, whenever you need it, that's what Cam does, and he proved it last week. He's been proving it all season. So I got Carolina, man, and probably either a 3 or 7 point victory over Arizona. I'm gonna say 28-31. That's where I'm gonna go with it.
I got the same score, but I got Arizona winning 31-28. Field goal
It
at
can
the end
go
of the
either way.
Yeah, I think so
go
too.
either way.
It could go either way. It really could go either way. Before we jump on the NBA, you want to give us an AFC prediction, FIFO?
Wait a minute, Kyle. You're from Carolina.
Can't, man. I can't do it. Can't do it.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute.
Hey, Ken, I'm a Falcons fan too, so you know I can't root for no damn Panthers, man. Which really puts me in a jam because if the Panthers and the Patriots make it, I have to make a choice. I might be rooting for a tie.
So you was asking about the AFC?
Yeah, AFC. What you got?
Man, look, I'm gonna take Tom Brady, man. I'm gonna take Tom Brady. Peyton got a little zip in the intermediate passes under 20 yards. You saw it last week. He still got a little zip on the ball, but he don't have power to get it downfield. And even though they have a better defense, you saw what Tom Brady did against. Look, man, he's going to neutralize everything by getting the ball out of his hands quick, making the right decisions, and I think that he could put up more points than Peyton Manning can right now. So that's where I'm gonna go with it. I don't watching that Broncos offense. You see what Peyton Manning brings to the squad, but it doesn't manifest itself into the same amount of points. He's not the same juggernaut quarterback. Mentally he is, but physically he just can't do it. And we're seeing that. And I just don't think he has enough left in the tank to beat the New England Patriots. So I'm going New England, man. And I think New England is probably going to beat them by 2 scores, at least, minimum.
Okay. Oh, so you think this is going to be a blowout?
Well, 2 scores isn't a blowout. It could be 10 points. It could be 14.
Okay, I got you. Double digits. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. So especially and shout out to everybody in the chat room, man. We haven't gotten a chance to shout you guys out. But shout out to everybody, and there's too many people to name. Shout out to we got looks like 110 people watching on YouTube. Make sure that you follow us on all the socials. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel. Check out our videos. Check out everything. All Dead End. Check out Dead End Hip Hop as well. And what was the other one? The new venture, Ken?
Dead End Podcast.
Dead End Podcast.
And Off the Bench.
Yeah, and Off the Bench. Exactly. New podcast coming from Ryan and Q to 6. I don't see Q in there tonight. So let's go NBA, man. MLK Day traditionally draws some. You know what? What's interesting? I thought the games yesterday. I don't ever remember MLK Day having that many premier games. There were some headliner games that kind of rival the Christmas games. Nonetheless, the marquee matchup was a rematch that we saw on Christmas between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Cleveland Cavaliers and the world champion Golden State Warriors. Golden State blew out Cleveland. I mean, when I say blew them out on their own home floor. LeBron James and company looked embarrassed. They looked lethargic. They looked so many adjectives. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'll give you my thoughts on it. FIFO, man, I'm gonna start first with you, man. What's your take on what happened last night? What you saw?
What I saw was like my boy. The best way to put it, my boy from Toronto hit me up, and he said he's never seen the literal interpretation of bending somebody over your knee and just spanking them in basketball. That's exactly what happened. What I saw a lot of hesitation on Kyrie Irving and LeBron's part. Like they didn't want to score. They were very passive. And K Love, I've watched Cleveland's. They've been on national TV for a while now. Like this past 2 weeks, K Love, I don't know what is up with him because he is missing wide open shots. He's getting to his spots. Look, when you play third fiddle, you're not going to get 20, 25 shots a game. You are going to get 10 to 15 shots a game, sometimes less than that. And you have to take advantage of your opportunities, and he's not taking advantage of his opportunities, and he gets scored on. And he gets scored on way too easy. But let's talk about Golden State. Them boys came out there like it was like Game 6 of the championship. That's the type of intensity that they played with. Steph Curry continues to show why he's the real MVP. Especially, you saw the couple of possessions after LeBron pushed them down. He was like, okay, watch how disrespectful I get and watch where I shoot this next three from. You keep messing with me. Like, I'm the MVP, bro. You like, don't put your hands on me. So it's just a culmination of a lot of stuff. I think LeBron was right with his post game when he said that they have a long way to go. They still do. They still don't have all of their chemistry. Kyrie's timing isn't at 100%. It is better. That's why he's been inconsistent, but he keeps getting better game by game. I think that the problem is K Love, and K Love needs to figure out what's going on. Because defensively, we know he's not a stalwart. He's going to get scored on. It is what it is. But then that we paid you $100 million, you need to make some damn open shots. You need to make open shots. And I think that, honestly, against Golden State, it's not a good overall matchup because David Blatt doesn't utilize his rotation to his best ability. And I think that that's going to be their downfall if they do see Golden State or San Antonio. I think David Blatt is going to be the main problem. And I think that at the end of this season, if they don't win the championship, he's gone. And he has to be. He has to be gone. He has to. There's no, bye.
Okay. What about you, B? What's your take on what you saw last night, man?
Oh, man. How the hell that Cavs is paying Tristan Thompson $82 million, he get out rebounded by a point guard. If you're supposed to be paying him that much bread. I mean, it's all along what LeBron said at the beginning of the season. You know, when Golden State was starting off with that historic run, they look like they are hungry. They look like they're a hungry team, like they haven't won a championship, and we playing like we lackadaisy, like we won a championship, and we ain't win nothing. And last night was a prime example of what LeBron said that one time after the game. What was that, like in November or early December? That was a prime example. Like Golden State looked like they still didn't win a freaking championship. Like they just came off of one of the best regular seasons, and one of the best seasons in NBA history, and they playing like they still hungry for more. And Cavs are not. I mean, they just. I can't even explain what the heck Cavs was doing. I don't know what was going on. It just showed that the Warriors were just clearly a better team, and they was outcoached, by the Warriors. It was just clear. It was nothing else really you can say in that. They just, like people said, Golden State put them on their knee and they smacked that ass. They just spanked that ass for 2.5 hours. And what else can you say? I do notice though. I read that quote that you tweeted me earlier. Mm-hmm. We tweeted us earlier about K Love saying, we gotta look ourselves in the mirror, and it starts from our leader. And they said, look over at LeBron, like K Love's not happy. He's not happy. I mean, of course, no one's gonna be happy if you getting beat by it like that. But it's not like Cleveland is like. It's not like they got a losing record. It's not like Cleveland's been losing, like crazy games. But for him to act like he's unhappy, something's going on. I wonder if something's gonna get shaken up by this trade deadline. I'm really curious to see what LeBron's gonna say to this front office we getting tourists to this trade deadline. I'm really interested.
You know what, man? Go ahead.
K-Love is not happy. Just watch Instagram. I follow Kyrie. I follow LeBron. I follow J.R. Smith. Kevin Love is never in the group pictures. And you know,
he don't rock with them dudes like that, man.
But come on, man. Look, man. Kyle, I don't know if you played basketball.
No, I didn't.
Even the nerdiest guy on the squad, when you have a good team and you're winning, he's in the group photo. He just is, especially if he's $100 million man. He's in the group photo.
Okay, but let me flip it on you, bro, Ralph. You play basketball. I play football. Football is honestly, it's too many people for me to become friendly with. But in basketball, it's more of a tighter unit. Are you necessarily close with everybody on the team, or relatively speaking, close to everybody on the team?
No, but I always felt like my job as a point guard is always to bring everybody together. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So regardless, maybe my mentality is just a little bit different. Obviously, I don't get paid the type of money that these guys do.
Right.
But Kevin Love, he looks lethargic. He looks like he's not motivated. There's a lot of different things. When I watch him play, he doesn't look like a guy that you pay $100 million to. Last year, I understood it. Like, okay, you're the third guy. This is the first year in a brand new role. I get it. It's not gonna look right. I said it all year. That first year is not gonna look right. It's just not. But for K-Love to come back into this season and still look like that, Bosch didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? Second year is like, okay, I know what I need to do to make this work with the other two guys. K-Love still seems like he's lost. He's still in 2015, 2014. I don't understand it. I really don't. But also, let's give Cleveland a little bit of a pass. They are the only team to hold Golden State under 90 points this year. They did get their ass whooped. Hey, look, there's no excuse for that. No excuse. But they did hold Golden State under 90 points in that first meeting on their home court. So, look, man, look. That's why it's a 7-game series. That's why East versus West only plays 2 games. We really don't know. It's not enough. It's only a sample size.
That's a good point. I don't know, man. One of the things that was telling to me last night about the game was they come out, Curry hits a 3. I think Clay hit a jumper, and Curry hit another 3. LeBron scored. Anyway, they started off on a 12-2 run. Black calls a timeout, and one of the things that the camera angles show LeBron's face, Kyrie's face, and J.R. Smith's face. And they all had this look on their face like, oh shit, here we go again. And I'm like, dude, it's way too early for you to be throwing in the towel. But that was really as competitive as the game was. The game wasn't even close after that point. I mean, they literally blew them out of the water in their own gym, and it wasn't even close. And it's like you said, the matchups were really, really bad. And, Black, I don't know if he's so into his thing where he's not willing to make lineup changes. But going big against that smaller lineup, it's just not working. They brought in Iguodala and the whole game changed.
Yeah, when Golden State went especially small, the whole game changed. And I think Black did a decent job of trying to match that. But the thing is that I don't think that you can play. And I know Charles Barkley was saying play Tristan and K-Love. I don't think that that's the lineup. I think you got to play Tristan and LeBron at the 4 and go smaller with somebody else. Play Shump and JR together. Man. Bring in Mo. Bring in Deli. You got to do something.
That's Ken's boy.
Because all I know is that my Pistons beat the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, there you go.
They forfeit. I don't know why the great Cleveland Cavaliers can get a win. I just don't understand. My Pistons did it. Damn it! I know the Cleveland Cavaliers can do this.
You know what, B? I think at this point, it's really in their heads. It is in their heads, and it showed last night.
To get beat like this on a national this was like a national game. at your home court by like almost 40 points, I mean, yeah, that's gonna kind of mess with your cycle a little bit. Granted, it is only January. It's a regular season game.
Right.
This is not a playoff game, but of course, games like this is why people always criticizing Cleveland Cavaliers. You on the main stage like this, and you just get blown out on your home court like this. This was supposed to be your rematch game. This is supposed to be the game. This is supposed to be your get back game. Hey, they got us on Christmas on their home court. Let's show them. Let's show them on our home court. What the Cleveland Cavaliers are about, and they didn't.
And what's interesting was that they supposedly had taken offense to the comment Steph Curry made about the champagne, the locker room smelling like champagne. They went out and got their ass kicked.
They got their ass kicked. Well,
man, let me bring on the fifth member of the crew, my man Ryan, the new host of the podcast Off the Bench. Ryan, what's going on, man?
What up? You all hear me?
Yeah, we got you. What's going on?
Not much, man. I was just actually watching the Cleveland-Portland game before this discussion tonight, talking about these Cavs. And
what did you think about last night's game?
I tweeted this at Ken, and he can say the same thing. I don't know if it was said already because I left, but their defense is bad. It's really bad.
It is.
Like, if you'll see it like hopped up on the stats right now, but that's inflated because they've been just posterizing less than 500 teams or teams that have been a lot less difficult than the stretch they're in their schedule right now.
Mm-hmm.
But their defense, transition defense is awful. Their offense is mainly isolation ball with either LeBron or Kyrie for most of the time, waiting for all the other guys to just run around. It's so bad. When I saw Curry hit that dagger three after LeBron shoved him, I said, oh.
Yeah.
This is over. There's no way. And they were egregiously flopping in the first quarter. Like Varejao literally flopped fell down when he was staying with Festus Ezeli. He literally just flat out hit the ground, and the ref gave him the offensive foul, and it was just disgusting.
I'm still, the thing that kind of bugged me was that here it is, you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, you're leading the Eastern Conference, you're going against the NBA champs who beat you, who you lost to, on their home floor on Christmas Day. This is a chance for redemption. National TV. Everybody's watching King Holiday the whole night, and it wasn't even competitive. I mean, like, they removed all doubt how much further they are down the road than real quick, and I want to get everybody's opinion on this. Did anybody take offense to the J.R. Smith ejection?
What did he do?
He ran through a screen.
He bowled out Harrison Barnes, but what you couldn't see, it was tough to see with the angle, was his fist, the way he bowled him out. Like, he kind of went into his chest.
Yeah, but I don't know that you necessarily kick a guy out of the game.
I say it's a flagrant one at best, but I mean, it was, you could see the
basketball play.
Exactly.
Basketball play. Look, I'm gonna tell you like this. What my coach always told me: you see one of the big men setting the screen. If he's bigger than you, you run through it. You run through it. That should not be an ejection. Foul, I'm fine with that. You want to call a foul? It is what it is. But you also the physicality in basketball is slowly diminishing, and I think that's a humongous problem, because if you're super quick and agile, and I'm like big and strong, why can I not use my physicality against your agility? You know what I'm saying? That's not fair. I should be able to be physical, and I think that's a big problem in the NBA. I think it's becoming extremely soft by tossing guys for stuff like that. Like, it just, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And I put it to you like this: like that foul that Tristan had on Andre Iguodala on the other end. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, that was more flagrant.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
because I think Chris Webber had a great point where you have to look at what a flagrant foul is. It should be if somebody can get hurt, like who's more vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison Barnes was braced up trying to set a pick. I'm trying to run through it. It is what it is. It's basketball. get on with the play. But if you're attacking people around the head and shoulder area in the air with these super athletes with 40-some inch verticals, stupid quickness, that's a problem. That's a problem. That should be more flagrant than me running through a screen. That I don't like that.
I agree. I didn't like that either. And I think, and they won't ever admit to it, but I think a lot of that had to do with J.R. Smith's reputation, for what it's worth. I think anybody else in the NBA making that screen, they might get a tech, maybe,
And when you say reputation, let's break that down even a little bit more. Last year against this same team in the playoffs, he did the same thing. So
Right.
So it's not like, oh, he did it against Memphis or he did it 2 years. No, we're talking about just last year in the finals. You just did this against the same team. So I don't. Even though he did that, it still does not warrant him.
So no question. I agree totally. I thought it was BS. Ken, give us your take on the game last night, man. What did you walk away from that game taking between the Cavs and the Warriors?
I walked away with a lot. I
think everybody. You like to troll with your trolling ass.
He's done with this team. He's done. He's done.
Man, first of all, Kyle, I hope you burn your big thumb on a lighter for getting me in this senseless.
Man, we had a crazy conversation on Twitter last night, and then I went to bed, and it kept going.
About how coaching doesn't matter. Kyle and I, we were arguing about two different things.
Yeah, we didn't realize it was two different things.
Yeah, there was one guy who said that it comes down to players and players. It was ridiculous, people. And I told him, I said, well, if coaching doesn't matter, then I'm pretty sure that the Golden State Warriors won the championship when they got rid of Mark Jackson and brought in Steve Kerr. And his reply was even more idiotic. I almost cursed him out, but I felt that would be nice. So that's number one. I got to be more selective about the people I reply to on Twitter. Yeah, but we all know the Cleveland Cavaliers are 0-3 against the Warriors and the Spurs. Obviously, they're competition. If you ask me in the NBA,
and they're 0-1 against the Bulls too.
Yeah, but that don't matter. The Bulls will always be who they are. Nobody's worried about the Bulls. They could beat them.
Look at FIFA. Look at FIFA.
But I think we need to stay focused because you know what? They'll see the Warriors, Spurs. If you want to toss them the Bulls, if they get past the Bulls, whatever. But look, man, I think at this point, after what happened last year, after what we've seen this year, David Blatt is Mike Brown all over again. The record, the wins are all a product of LeBron James. And Blatt is just not made to coach this team. And FIFO, didn't you point out that David Blatt was brought in to coach a different team than the one he has right now?
Oh, FIFO's muted.
Okay. He's on the phone. Anyway, that's what FIFO said.
David Blatt was not brought in to coach this team. David Blatt was brought in for a rebuild project. Mm-hmm. And because he does have championship experience just overall, I thought he was a great candidate to bring in for that. And at the same time, him trying to establish his foundation, as a coach and what his principles are, when you now have a championship squad, you no longer have that. He doesn't have the time to grow as a coach in the NBA. Now it's all advanced. Now you have to know exactly what you're doing now because these are now the decisions and how you communicate and all of that stuff is extremely dire because one bad mistake as a coach, you put your team in a position that they're not going to win. And we're seeing that. We've seen that. Not saying that he's a bad coach, but he needs time to grow in the NBA. And as a rebuild project, that would have afforded him that time. But as a championship squad, he is not the guy. And that's why I said earlier, if they don't win, he has to be out.
Oh yeah,
He
he's gone.
has to be out. You have to bring somebody in there like a Thibodeau. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that you know that can maximize his talent or their talent somehow, some way, whether it's a defensive coach, offensive coach, or whatever. But go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry, I went on.
It's good, man, because David Blatt has to go now. And that's what I'm saying. David Blatt has to go now because they're wasting LeBron's years. I think they have a roster in place that can compete with the Spurs and the Warriors. We have seen it. They haven't won some of those games. Blatt has to go. He's not built to coach his team. His sensibilities, all of the things that you were talking about, they need a no-nonsense coach that's going to come in there that's going to command the respect of his team, of a LeBron James. And LeBron James has to respect him. We all know he doesn't respect David Blatt. Everybody pointed out how he's sitting on the bench talking to, ranting, to Tyronn Lue. So I think the pieces are in place. There's no system. And they get out of the system far too early in the game when things go wrong, and Blatt doesn't get them back into the system. The Warriors, the Spurs, they work the system.
And late in the game, because those are the decisions. Like okay, look, let's be honest. Like during the course of the game, when you have great players, especially a one-on-one player like Kyrie, you have LeBron that just is LeBron. At the end of the game, you can't win it one-on-one. You have to rely on the system. You're going to have possessions throughout the game, even in closing possessions that it is one-on-one. But overall, you have to rely on the system. You have to trust that, and they don't trust it. And the reason why I say that is because when they do run sets out of timeouts or when they do run an offense, they score easily. They do score easily, but for some reason they don't do it consistently. And when they do get out of it, Ken's 100% right. They don't get back into it, and that to me is a lack of respect or a lack of trust. There's a lack of something, and there should not be a lack of anything between your head coach and your best player. Tell me the best head coach's best player combos. If there's somebody that's off page, they're all on the same book, same chapter, same word. CP and Doc. I can go everywhere. But I'm just saying, if you're trying to maximize your star player, that player and the head coach have to be on the same page, and LeBron and David Blatt are clearly not. They're just clearly not.
And the thing about it is LeBron is talking all of this stuff. Like, he talks more than he's producing now. Statistically, he's going to go on the court and he's going to put up numbers. But in the beginning of the year, what did he say? Kevin Love is going to be the focal point of the offense. That clearly hasn't been the case. That's why he's fed up. LeBron's always having to constantly remind people in the media on the team that he's the leader of the team, which is why you heard Kevin Love refer to him as the leader. That was a shot at LeBron always referring to himself as the leader. And I know that's LeBron wanting to publicly accept the blame for when things go wrong, but sometimes you don't always have to say that you're the leader. Just freaking lead. You know what I'm saying? So he's always doing that. And the second thing is that the other reason why I think Blatt has to go is because they pay Love all of this money, and I have a theory as to why. But again, he has not found a way to utilize Love on this team. At least Bo managed to find a way to use Bosh at some point. But
I disagree with you, Ken.
Love.
I disagree with you with this point. Love gets the attempts. Love is not shooting a great percentage over 2 years. If you watch the Cleveland Cavs this year, he's getting shots. And if you want the ball, go get the ball, just like Shaq said last night. Hey, Shaq said about Charles Barkley. He said, you know how many Charles didn't run no plays. If he wanted the ball, you go get the ball. You get paid $100 million goddamn dollars. You go get the damn ball.
You know what I said that? I said that on Twitter. I said that Love has to be more aggressive. He has to stand up.
Love has to produce. Look, Ken, when you're the third fiddle, Ken, when you're the third fiddle, you're not going to get more than 15 shots a night. When you're the third fiddle, he's the third fiddle.
Love should be first or second option.
No, what? Love is the third option, bruh.
Hold on.
LeBron first, Kyrie second, Kevin
Yeah,
Love
that's
third.
always.
Look,
What are
man,
you talking
LeBron.
about?
But here's let me kind of frame that a little bit. We all know that LeBron will get his when he get his. But what do people praise LeBron about? His ability to share the ball, facilitate. He can get Love and use Love as a focal point because LeBron at some point is going to get his. If you look at Curry, and that's where the system can come into play. A system can get Love more shots. But if you look at Curry, Curry stays within the system. When the system breaks and when they need Curry to be hero, Curry becomes the hero and save them. LeBron can easily do that. But I think that LeBron needs to look. Love isn't shooting a great percentage from the field because his opportunities are being limited. I think he needs to be involved early and not late. Last thing, when I see, and then I'll let you go. When I see Love gets his shots, it's normally when the game is probably out of reach. Then they'll set him up for a three. Or getting all the shots on the 3-point line. They rarely post him up.
They should post them up.
They should post them up more. That's fine. I agree with that with that reasoning, right? But here's the thing. When you compare the big three to Miami's big three, D Wade is Kyrie, right? Both of them have similar games in the fact that they can play make, but primarily they're scorers and they're attackers and they go to the rim, obviously in different ways. D Wade a little bit more of a slasher, obviously Kyrie more of a ball handler, but the end result, how they get there, where they get there, their goal is the same thing. Bosh had to take a third seat to that because LeBron, like you said, is going to get his and he's a facilitator. Whoever he plays with, he's going to dominate the ball. He plays with the ball. Kyrie plays with the ball. Therefore, those two guys, by nature of how they naturally play, are going to be first and second option. K-Love needs to, I don't know if he's accepted this role as the third guy, but that's what he is with these two players. That is their best fit to play the game. K-Love has to play off of them, and he's getting shots. He's getting opportunities, albeit maybe not as close to the basket as he maybe needs to be, but he's getting opportunities. Bosh was more of a low post player than K-Love was going to Miami. Bosh had to extend out. K-Love came into this situation being a three-point shooter, being a mid-range shooter, being a deadly jump shooter already. So why can't you produce? Bosh produced with minimal attempts, even from far, and he had to change his game. So that's no excuse when you get paid $100 million to do something that you were doing in Minnesota.
But why say he's going? See, the problem is that LeBron came out and publicly said, and probably said to Kevin Love, "You're going to be the focal point. Focal point is not third option, Ralph." And
early in the season, okay.
Well, the last thing is, I think that the reason why they signed Kevin Love to a long-term contract is because they wanted insurance in case LeBron leaves. It leaves in the offseason because he's fed up with this team. So now they have somebody to build off of. That's just me. I think about it, man. They locked him up. He's not going anywhere.
Let me chime in.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Because Ken, you may not be wrong. Because I don't know if any of you guys watched First Take today, but supposedly the sources that talk to Stephen A. is going to come down
Lord.
to, yeah, I know. Coming one of two things is what he's saying. Either Black goes or Kevin Love goes. That's what was said. That's the talk among the administrating people. So that theory may not be too far off. Why they locked him up for so much money, so he could be a headache for somebody else. But FIFO, I agree that he's supposed to be the third option. But I've been watching some of the games. He's not used as a third option. Like, they have the pieces to be like the Clippers in the East, but they don't do it that way. He usually runs with possessions of LeBron or Kyrie, long time of iso ball while everyone runs around while one of them holds before they attack, and most of the time goes to a last minute pass for whoever is being sagged off, whether it be most of the time it's JR. JR is used more as a third option than Kevin Love is.
And that's why I wouldn't start JR. I would start Iman. Like, you can't. Like, to me, when you have offensive weapons like that, I like to bring those guys off the bench, especially if he's instant offense. And you have your three primary guys on this squad are offensive minded.
So the other two guys need to complement that. You don't complement that with another offensive-minded guy. You bring in you start Iman Shumpert. That to me, that's who I start at the 2. Why? Because he's a 3-and-D guy. He plays defense and he spaces the floor too.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that Stephen A. said is that a lot of people in the stands and even among the bench were saying that all Black does is just stand there with his arms folded.
No,
And
he also does this. He also does this.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I just think that if you look at the two teams, Black just hasn't figured it out, and you know, you brought back this championship caliber, this team that went to the finals without Kevin Love and Kyrie, and when you play against the Warriors and the Spurs, granted, 2 out of the 3 games were close. We can chalk up last night to just a bad night because we know that can happen in basketball.
Yeah, but getting blown out like that, I don't know if that's necessarily a bad night.
Well, I mean, we can and we cannot. I'm not going to say that was the case.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they can, you know, mentally they can be like, you know what, we were just off. And Draymond Green, DG3, kind of said the same thing.
That's your boy.
Right. Yeah, that's my boy, man. And I think somebody even said this earlier. Kevin Love, it's hard for him to guard Draymond at the 4 because he's so versatile. But you look at, one thing I noticed was when they had Iggy mic'd up, and you could just hear how much fun they were having. You know, the unity and the chemistry on that team, you know, it's just so solid, man. And with the Cavs, it's just not that way. And it shouldn't be this way after these guys have played together and they can't really make any moves. Mozgov forgot how to play, and I don't think he can take the harsh criticism that he's been receiving. He can't catch the ball. He can't score in the post. He can't even grab a freaking rebound, you know, when it hits him right in the hands. You can put Stickum in Mozgov's hands, and he'll still find a way to fumble the ball. He is I had high hopes for Mozgov, and he has just absolutely regressed to the he looks worse than Bogut. That's how bad Mozgov looks out there.
All right, so we've really hit that pretty hard. I want to jump to this list before we get out of here. BZ 430, the centers list, man. We talked about it a little bit last week. I think we touched on the point guards, but ESPN came up with the top 10 centers of all time. I'll read them out to you. You tell me what you think as far as the list or maybe how they were constructed. Coming in at number 10, Bill Walton. Number 9, the great George Mikan. Number 8, Patrick Ewing. Number 7, the Admiral David Robinson. Number 5, the late great Moses Malone. Number 6, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. Number 4, Shaquille Rashawn O'Neal. 3, Bill Russell. 2, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. And number 1, the captain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. What do you think about that list, B?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually fine with that list. I didn't really have an issue. I mean, of course, yeah, my personal favorite, Hakeem Olajuwon, I felt he would have been ranked a little high. I think he should have been ranked a little higher, but that's just personal preference. But, like, as far as where everybody's ranked, I mean, I get it. I mean, I was talking to my dad a few days ago when I've been showing him the positions, you know, from point guard to power forward. We pretty much predicted this list, like the rankings and everything. My dad was like, Kareem gonna be 1. He said it's probably gonna either be Bill Russell with Chamberlain number 2. You know, one of them gonna be the 2 or 3, which was right. You know, Shaq. My dad kind of saw Shaq was gonna be up there, even though he felt Hakeem would have been ranked higher, but he understand why Shaq would have been up there. You know, Moses Malone. He said Moses Malone was gonna be on there. He told me Bill Walton was gonna be in there, even though he didn't care too much for him.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch him in the '70s, but he said he had a feeling Bill Walton was gonna be on that list some way somehow. And was that George Mikan? He told me about him. He said the reason why he was on there is because him and Wilt pretty much changed the game because when George Mikan was in there, they extended the paint, and then when Chamberlain came in the game, they extended the paint even more. What we're seeing right now. So, Yeah, I mean, I don't really have an issue with that list. It's the centers that they have on this list, pretty much, what I expected, who I expected to see.
What about you, Ryan?
Personal preference, I would have put Hakeem higher.
Okay.
And I would have put Bill over Wilt.
Okay.
The George Mikan thing, I was shocked to see. I was like, okay, so maybe they're trying to give a little more validity since people have been calling them out for their BS on these pass lists. But those are the two big gripes for me. I think Hakeem should have been top 5 and Bill should have been 2. But otherwise, I don't have too many other gripes with it.
FIFO, what about you, man? How do you like this list?
I think the list is perfectly fine. Again, I'm gonna just reiterate what everybody said. For me, Hakeem will probably be a little bit higher because I actually watched him play, but I have no qualms about it.
Yeah. They really got it right. I think they really got it right with all the centers that they got listed.
They got it right. Did we talk about the small forward list though?
Nope.
Nah, because I think that came out in between last week's show and this week. We can talk about it. Just my take on the centers, man. This is tough because I think you really could make a case if you go Moses at 6, Hakeem at 5, Shaq at 4, Russell at 3, Wilt at 2, and Kareem at 1. You really could make a case for all of them being number 1. Honestly, if you've seen them play, now obviously I didn't see Wilt play, I didn't see Russell play, but you could and ask people older, like you said, like his father, people who actually, you can make a case for any of those 6 being number 1, and so forth and so. I don't necessarily have a problem with. Honestly, I thought Hakeem would be over. The only thing I was looking for on this list was to see if Hakeem would be over Shaq, because a lot of people were going to place Hakeem over Shaq. I give Shaq just the slightest of edges, slight edge. And I know my man Ken over there is over there screwface. I see him over there being mad. So I'm going to turn it over to him. Ken, tell me what do you think about the list, Ken?
Roast him.
Oh, man, here y'all go with this, my personal favorite, this, that, and the other, man. Let's just call it what it is. If all of us saying that Hakeem should have been higher, then damn it, Hakeem should have been higher.
I said that.
I know.
He should have been higher.
CB, you being nice, man. You my personal favorite. Man, let's call ESPN out, man. Look, we understand that some of these rankings are them paying homage and playing it safe. So when you look at it, you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. That's why nobody really has an issue with it. But Hakeem should have been 3rd. The man got
3rd.
3rd, yes.
You tripping? Your fandom coming out.
So Ken, you got Kareem at 1. Who's at 2?
Wilt's at 2. I'm okay with that.
But you gonna put Hakeem over Russell?
Yes, I will.
You.
How am I tripping?
Because you trolling
defensively.
Hakeem Olajuwon would cook Bill Russell.
He block him out the damn gym.
You ain't Hey, man, look, man, just because Bill Russell is you know what I'm saying, like that's your uncle or something. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, respect the man like that. Look, Hakeem is nice. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody's saying that Hakeem isn't, but at the end of the day, it's like really over the guy that scored 100 points? Over that guy?
Third. Wilt is 2nd. Hakeem is 3rd.
Oh, so you would put Hakeem 3rd?
Yeah. Right. Thank you, FIFO. Look, we're talking about Hakeem Olajuwon. He got David. Look, David Robinson couldn't do anything with him. Shaq couldn't do anything with him. Patrick Ewing couldn't do anything with him. You honestly think Bill Russell can do anything with him?
Yes.
I understand he's supposed to be the defensive champ, this defensive mastermind, and he gave Wilt Chamberlain play and all that stuff. I get it, but Hakeem Olajuwon was that dude. He played in a nice center era, and he cooked 3 of the guys that's on this list. He should have been 3rd. He won a championship when it was really just him and a bunch of players, and besides Clyde Drexler, of course. But Clyde Drexler had to go to Houston to jump on Hakeem's back to win a championship. And I love Clyde Drexler. I was happy he went there, but this was disrespectful, man. But
I mean, Ken, 11 championships. he averaged 15, 22, and shot 44%. I mean, Wilt averaged, and of course, I mean, it's different day and time. Wilt averaged 30 and 22. 30 and 22.
I'm kidding with that.
And shot 54% from the field.
I just said Bill Russell. I'm not saying Wilt. I'm not saying Kareem. I'm saying Bill. Bill was
but you're definitely putting Hakeem over Shaq.
Yeah, he beat Shaq in the finals.
He did. That's what I'm saying. I can't argue with that. I can't.
But now, hold on, FIFA, hold on. In fairness to Shaq, that was a young. Now let's go prime for prime. How do you think that plays out? Prime Shaq versus prime Hakeem.
Prime for prime, like they can't stop each other. Look, the greatest players against each other, they can't
cancel each other, right?
Because just like I said, if I'm super physical and you're super agile, you should feel my physicality the same way I feel your agility. And in that matchup, in that era of basketball, with the rules how they were, King couldn't do nothing with that, and Shaq couldn't do nothing with Akeem. So it would have been down to the others. And Shaq had Kobe, and he had Drexler, and I would take Kobe over Drexler. So it is what it is.
Shaq also had Penny.
Oh, wait, no. Well, wait, hold on. What was Shaq's prime then? What was Shaq's prime?
I would say that
prime. Okay, I get your prime. Oh,
Yes.
By the way, Akeem also beat Patrick Ewing in the finals, who's also on the list. Come on, man.
But he's higher than you. So your fandom is just talking right now.
It's not fandom.
Man, he was mad. He was mad when that list came out.
We all know the reason why they put. And you know what? Bill Russell really doesn't get a lot of the respect that he deserves.
No, he doesn't.
And I'll be honest about that. But I think this is just ESPN. Just they don't want to deal with the backlash, so they're gonna put him third.
That's why they put George Mikan.
And I'm okay with George. Bill Walton. Why in the hell is Bill Walton on this list?
Bill Walton was nice in college.
Most overrated.
Thank you.
But you know what? To be honest, Bill Walton was nice in the late '70s. When I saw him in the '80s, he was more of a sixth man. He wasn't. My memories of Bill Walton was him.
My dad said Bill Walton had one out of body experience season, and that was the year they won championship. Other than that, I was talking to my dad. He felt he should not have been on that top 10 list.
All right. So let's talk about this small forward list, though.
Go ahead. We got about 5 minutes.
No, you got the list. I don't have the list.
You know what? I don't even have it pulled up. Let me see if I can find it.
I just know some of my favorite players where they are. Like Pippen is number 6, KD's number 4, LeBron's number 1, Bird number 2.
Did you have any issues with that list?
No, even though KD, because LeBron.
Yeah, I thought KD was ranked a little
too high.
Little too high. I think we. It's like Curry. I think we still gotta wait. Like I think
not as much though.
KD even said he was too high.
Would you put KD over Pippen?
Okay. KD is a better basketball player than Pippen, and KD is going to finish top 2, I think, as best small forwards, or top 3. You know, I think it's going to be between him, Bird, and LeBron. I think KD is that good. But this is projecting. If his career ended today, he wouldn't be the 4th best small forward.
And that's what I try to kind of measure it on.
And that's where I'm kind of like, okay, I agree with KD, even though I think he should be on this list. But I think when it's all said and done, this is where he's going to kind of be. You know what I'm saying? And I think also if LeBron finished right now, to me, I think he's the greatest small forward to ever play. So that's why I'm fine with him being number 1.
Would you have an issue if somebody put Bird ahead of LeBron right now?
No.
Okay.
I think that at that point it almost comes down to personal preference because they both have accolades. They have accolades on top of accolades on top of accolades. Listening to Hubie Brown the other night, he said the 2 best. He talked about 5 best small forward passers, but he said the best was LeBron, and he said right behind him was Larry Bird. So when you're talking about multifaceted guys, man, to me the reason why I say LeBron's the best is because you've never seen physicality and agility like that ever, with the IQ and the visibility that he has. So to me, you put all of that together, the stuff you can't coach, the stuff you can't teach, that's why he's the best. Now, I have no issues with somebody putting Larry Bird over that because Larry Bird was great. Larry Bird is the top 2 small forward of all time. I have no problems with that.
The Bird game is so polished, man. Oh, my God.
I just said
Bird game was so polished.
Yeah. People forget how Bird used to roast
People forget how
on a night that's not
Bird was, man.
Look it up on Hardwood Classics.
Oh, I'll have to look it up. I remember it. I was watching NBA when it was on tape delay.
Man,
there was no TNT. Trust me.
You know what? I was surprised that they put LeBron first over Larry Bird. I kind of also understand it a little bit because of his athleticism and all of that. But man, Bird was that killer, dog. Like Bird had crushed my soul a lot of times because I was not a Larry Bird fan, and whenever he had the ball in his hands, he always broke my heart.
And you know what's funny is that people always talk about Bird shooting, but Bird was such a phenomenal passer. He played defense. I mean, like in an era where you had to play defense. I mean, you had to bring it at that small forward position in the '80s. Every night you had to bring it. I mean, because you're gonna see the best of the best, kind of like how we see on a night-to-night basis the point guard position. So I think Bird, is if you didn't get a chance to see Bird, you missed out on something because a lot of people remember him and they see him on the Dream Team, but when he was on the Dream Team, he had back injuries. He really wasn't even playing that much. But trust me, man, Larry Bird was a killer. Killer.
Look, listen. Let's talk about this shooting guard BS.
Please.
Look, man. How are you going to do my boy like that, Wade? Like, for real?
They got a shooting guard list?
Yeah, they did every position, people.
Yeah, they did every position.
So
yeah,
Wade was like 4th, wasn't he?
Yes.
Oh, that's too
high. Behind
Jerry
West.
That's too high.
Who?
Jerry West is too high. I agree.
No.
Don't.
Wade is too high.
He said Wade.
Okay, so people, here go the list. If you don't know it, of course, 1 and 2 is Michael Jordan and Kobe.
Okay.
Number three is Jerry West. Number 4 is Dwayne Wade. Number 5 is Clyde Drexler. Number 6, Allen Iverson. Number 7, George Gervin. Number 8, Ray Allen. 9, Reggie Miller. And 10, Earl Monroe.
Dwayne Wade, 3 chips, won 1 by himself. He channeled Jordan. How do you put Jerry West, who has 1 ring, over Dwayne Wade? You know what? That list at that point was turned into pure garbage for me.
So Ken, so obviously you're one of those that is like the more chips means like you're better, because realistically D Wade rode the coattails of LeBron to the other 2. Where that one,
Shots fired.
He got that one.
See, y'all trying to make this a 5-hour show, man.
How in the hell? LeBron, what the hell is LeBron doing right now? LeBron will never get another
to the finals and making the playoffs, not getting a lottery pick.
Why he's losing? Because he doesn't have Dwayne Wade. LeBron had to go to Miami. Dwayne Wade didn't go to Cleveland. He had to go
but Bosh came too, though. Bosh came too. It wasn't just LeBron. And who was the leader on that squad? And what did D Wade say when they went on vacation? No. Because you're supposed to know this. Because you were there, weren't you? You know what D Wade told LeBron.
Do it by himself.
Yeah, Ken was there.
And he knew what was up. and he never should have left Miami in the first place. That's why he up there struggling, getting his ass kicked by 40 points.
Hey, well, Miami's not gonna win a title.
Wait.
It don't matter, man.
First and foremost, LeBron made it to another finals. D-Wade didn't make the playoffs. That's number one.
No.
Wait. The number 3 shooting guard of all time still physically can compete over 70 games, should be in the playoffs by his damn self in the atrocious East last year. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about a LeBron James who left Miami and went to Cleveland to play with the young guns because of the talent, the young talent they had there. If he would have stayed in Miami,
wait. That's the reason why. That's the reason why now. So you're gonna flip flop the reasons why LeBron went? Come on, K. You can't have it all the ways.
I'm saying LeBron left because he was a coward. And he was playing the Spurs again because he didn't have the heart, the will, the toughness to tighten places.
Stephen A on right now.
How much bigger of a heart do you need? How much tougher do you need to be? How much more will to win a championship in a city that hasn't won, bruh? In a city that hasn't won. In an economy without you, no people struggling in all of Cleveland, bruh. What are you talking about, man? Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Go ahead, B.
Hey, FIFO.
You his mic or something, man. Get on that man for me, man.
Hey, FIFO, did you see the point guard list? Or you didn't see none of the list?
No, I saw it. We talked about the point guard.
Yeah, we talked about the point guard last week.
Wait, hold on. This is the last thing I gotta say. FIFO, you know good and damn well if LeBron never went to Miami, he would not have a ring.
I agree. I'm not saying that D-Wade is talented-less. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Marshall talented-less. All I'm saying is who was the best player on the court.
And I'm telling you
that. All right, then. Answer the question, Ken. Answer the question. You do what you always do.
Houseway.
Answer the question, old man. Who was the best player on the court?
You could be the best player on the court. Charles Barkley was the best player on the court for a couple of years. He still don't have a ring.
Because he didn't have no D-Wade or Chris Bosh. Because he had no D-Wade or Chris Bosh. He didn't have sidekicks like that. He didn't have sidekicks like that.
His son's team?
Huh?
He tried to create. Look. Barkley went to Houston trying to get on the backs of Akeem Olajuwon, the third best center of all time.
Well, Barkley was done by then, and so was Rex. All of them guys was done except for Akeem.
The fact remains that if LeBron James never went to Miami, D-Wade 1, LeBron James 0.
That's fine, and I give you that. Is that not what I gave you from the beginning of this conversation? I gave you that.
This is how we started this show.
I gave you that, Ken. But at the end of the day, if LeBron didn't go there, it'd still be D-Wade 1.
It don't matter. LeBron would have one.
Right.
So LeBron would have one.
Hey, FIFO.
What up?
Did you see the point guard, the power forward list?
I didn't see the power forward list.
All right, so real quick,
Draymond Green wasn't on there.
So listen, FIFO power forward list. Number 1, of course, Tim Duncan. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Karl Malone. Mm-hmm. Number 3, Dirk Nowitzki. Number 4, Charles Barkley. Number 5, Kevin Garnett. Number 6, Kevin McHale. Number 7, Bob Pettit. Number 8, Elvin Hayes. Number 9, Pau Gasol, and number 10, Dennis Rodman.
I think Dirk is a little high. When I was listening to the list, I would have put Dirk right around KG. He's either right before or right after KG. I like Dennis Rodman making the list. Definitely hard-earned. He did it unconventional. He did it his way. Yep. So I'm glad he's getting the accolades because he's like Westbrook in guard. I never seen the man take a day off. He was out there. You got everything he had.
No question.
Every play. No question. Every play. So I give him 1,000% props for that.
Yeah, I was fine with this list. I mean, me personally, I love Kevin McHale, so I would have thought he would have been higher. But other than that, I mean, I thought they got the list right. My dad used to always tell me about Bob Pettit. He was like, yeah, Bob Pettit was.
Oh, Bob Pettit can play.
And he used to tell me about Elvin Hayes too. So that seeing those two people, of course, I didn't see them, play, But my dad used to always tell me that they were really good power forwards. And I don't know, Pau Gasol. I was trying to think of other power forwards, but I guess they got it right with Pau Gasol. I couldn't think of nobody else.
You know what, B, and I think we talked about that, and you asked me who I would replace him with.
Yeah.
I got to go back and look, man, because I couldn't think of anybody else off the top of my head. So he might actually stay on that list.
Who would you
Well,
place?
that's as of right now. That's as of right now
Right.
because if we look at the young talent that has come in, you know, I think, and this is obviously extremely early, but I'm projecting. I think that these guys are going to be superstars. Anthony Davis can be projected to maybe make this list in 10 years from now. I
That's
think
your man.
is Karl Anthony Towns. I think he's legit. I think
But he's a center, though. He's a center.
Yeah, I'm about to say he's a center.
I think he's more of a four. I think he's more of a four. But okay, fine. If he's a center, it is what it is. But Porzingis is definitely a four. And I think if he's healthy for 10 years, his trajectory, I think he can be arguably on this list as well. What up, Ryan?
I think I get what you're saying, but let's just see what they do.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
The other
I think Anthony Davis is all but a lock, though, if he stays healthy.
Let's see how this rebuild goes.
All right, man. So we got
But
we're
Kevin
over the
McHale should be
time.
higher.
So let's get our closing shots before we get out of here. Ryan, you got any parting shots for the people?
Kevin McHale should be hired. Charles Barkley said it himself. The best two big men he's ever played with was Tim Duncan and Kevin McHale. So I think he should be higher. But other than that, we recording another episode off the bench real soon. Couple days. Just gotta hit up Q, and there'll be more of that coming.
All right.
All right, Q. All right, okay. What about you, FIFO? Parting shot?
All I know, this is all I know. If I don't know nothing else, D Wade would have retired with one ring. That's just honest truth. And all I'm saying is Brown would have won one without D Wade before D Wade would have won another. That's all I know.
All right, Ken. What's your parting shot, man?
Man, if LeBron never went to Miami, LeBron would have been forever the loser in the finals that he is right now, 2-6. He better be thankful Dwayne Wade was born. And that's all I got to say. And fire Black.
Like right now?
Now, let him go.
He's done with this team.
I'm done. I hurt my ankle jumping off this bandwagon. I tweeted
Yeah. You was hurt. You was hurt last night too. All right, B. What about you? Parting shot.
Glad to see one of the Grand Slams just started. I forgot about the Australia Open. Only time I really watch tennis is the Grand Slam tournaments. Aussie Open, French Open, Wimbledon, and U.S. Open. So hoping to see what Nadal's gonna do this season. See, hopefully Serena Williams gonna make another historic run this year. And shout out to my Pistons giving the Golden State their fourth loss of the season. So I'm glad. I like to see what I like what I'm seeing with Stan Van Gundy, what he's doing with. I think we're gonna really be some serious contenders in the East in another 2 to 3 seasons, man. I think we're gonna be like good to the where it's gonna be like championship or bust year in about 3 years from now if we stay at this pace.
Pistons
All
should
right.
make the playoffs.
My parting shot, man, is on the hip hop tip. Do yourself a favor, man. Do some homework tomorrow. When you get some time, man, listen to 3 of the dopest albums from 1988. Great Adventures of Slick Rick, Straight Outta Compton, and of course, one of my all-time favorites, It Takes the Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back by Public Enemy. Do your homework, man. 1988, the greatest year in hip hop.
Such a great year, man. Such a great year.
Greatest year in hip hop, hands down. 96 was close, but 88.
Over 94?
94 was. I give 96 the slightest edge over 94, but 88 was better.
We got to talk about that, Kyle.
It's podcast coming. All
right.
Hey, that's going to do it for us. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. We definitely appreciate the love. We'll holler at you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
Shout out to Meek Mill. Hey, why is Meek Mill still rapping?